A warm welcome to each one of you, dear sisters, especially to the aspiring missionaries of the different provinces and to the resource persons, Sister Jessy Sebastian, Sister Rosy Susai and Sister Regie Chinnappan. A cordial welcome to those missionaries who are preparing to step out of their comfort zones and to cross frontiers of different types. Frontiers of the country, of the state, and above all, the frontiers of our being, widening our horizon to see to the needs of other missions, enlarging the space of our tent to include everybody, the frontiers of our heart to reach out with joy and generosity to respond to the Lord's call. A very special welcome to the young, vibrant, budding missionaries preparing themselves to go to France in our spirituality center in Yercaud. Also to Sister Triveni of Guwahati province and Sister Rani Tirupalli of Angamali province. We organized a border crosses sharing to actualize the orientations of our chapter documents. Our chapter documents on evangelical way of relatedness and sharing ask us to cross the frontiers of our countries, provinces, and delegations to strengthen the movement, that movement to move out to be strengthened and accelerated. So, dear sisters, Chapter 2019 had this challenging plea to be border crossers and pioneers, not settlers. Let us be border crossers and pioneers and not settlers. So I'm introducing Rosy first, and Rosy will share, then afterwards. So Rosy from 2002 to date, so Rosy is in USA, one of the pioneers of USA. She was from 2002 to 2006, she was involved in the pastoral ministry. At the same time, she was preparing herself for nursing license and certification to work in USA. And from 2006 to 2012, she did nursing full-time ministry in the hospital. In 2012, she was transferred to Watertown, continued nursing full-time, and she was responsible for the community. In 2017, she completed certification exam. Since then, she is ministering to the sick in the clinic, working along with doctors. On a daily basis, she attends to 30 to 50 patients. Currently, she lives at Sackets Arbor, adjacent community to Watertown, commuting to work daily. If she had been there for 20 years, she must be a person rooted in God and rooted in his mission. So we are fortunate to have experienced missionary to share with us. We welcome you, Rosy, to share with us. Over to you, Rosy.
Good evening, sisters. First of all, I take this opportunity to thank Sister Fatima and the members of the Commission for Border Crosses Mission Ad Extra for this special opportunity to be with you this evening and to share about missionary joys and challenges in the USA mission. Thank you all. What I am going to share with you tonight is not a rocket science. Every one of us are living our missionary life in our own little way where we are ministering. But my sharing is going to be my personal experience and perspective in a mission land, living the charism and living the vocation and the religious life, doing the ministry. First of all, I thank you for your prayerful support every day when you do your prayers for missionaries. We feel the strength and power of prayers. Because of your prayers and encouragement, we are able to continue our ministries with odds and challenges in the new land. One kind request to all of you sisters, during the sharing, if you come across any questions, please save the questions. For the end of the sharing, we will have plenty of time for questions and answers and for further discussion. My life in the USA mission has been an enriching experience. My journey as a missionary began in the year 2002. Right after I finished my final profession, completed nursing program in Child Jesus Hospital in Trichy, completed the contract, I opted for the mission. The new mission began in the USA, called to minister as a nurse in the hospital to support Tanzania mission. My personal growth venturing into the newness, new phase of life, new land, new people, new culture brought me an experience of awe and wonder, as well as uncertainty how everything will work out, because United States medical system and the hospital functions differently than Indian hospitals. Having trained in India, I needed to be more competent to begin a ministry and continue nursing in the hospital. I learned the required techniques and skills through mentors, frequenting local libraries, finally taking a licensure exam to be fully equipped to begin a ministry in the American environment. I faced with the setbacks. The paperwork had taken longer time to be processed, almost 4 to 5 years. But I took these challenges as a stepping stone to be patient and persevere to enter into the medical system, finally in the hospital. Once again, I became a novice to learn and start all over again. Transportation in the new land, unlike India, in the United States, needs more public transportation to go place to place. This forced me to overcome my fear and reluctance to learn driving. With effort and practice, learned the driving with the instruction from one of our parishioners who's trained driving instructors. Still, driving in the wintry weathers, in the snowy, slippery, and wintry days are a challenge. Spiritual growth. In India, spiritual life is nurtured through scheduled personal and community prayer. I was able to just fulfill whatever the scheduled prayer time by doing it, by fulfilling it, because everybody else in the community did the same to nurture the spiritual life. In the USA, away from the familiar situation, one must develop a schedule for personal prayer and collaborate with the community for community prayer and spiritual exercises to be closer to the Lord. Finding special time with God is one's personal responsibility to remain faithful to the vocation and to live the religious life. Inner emptiness was a challenge in the spiritual life that led me to seek more time alone with God and to read spiritual books and reflect. Alone time for walk, reflection, and prayers and seeking spiritual guidance helped me to develop my intimate relationship with the Lord. As in the general chapter, Orientation 1 stresses the importance of rootedness and groundedness in Christ. I experienced that deep connection and groundedness with the Lord that enabled me to grow in the radiance of consecrated life and the power of the prophetic mission. Pastoral ministry. In India, we involve in pastoral activities by helping out in our local parishes during the weekend, decorating the altar, preparing weekend liturgy, visiting houses, participating in BCC events. In USA, the pastoral ministry is done at a different level because of the need for religious occasion to religious life and priestly life. We were expected to take Eucharist to the homebound, shut-ins, nursing home, and conduct communion services in the local parishes and in the nursing homes. This experience evangelized me personally. I was moved as I encountered their suffering and loneliness. I was able to live the gospel passage of Matthew 25:40, doing the corporal work of visiting the lonely and the sick. On the other hand, I became depleted of my energy, thus needed to be charged with prayers and spiritual strength to provide spiritual nourishment with inner joy and peace. I felt what I did not have, I could not give. Another challenge was understanding their background and their faith theoretical background in the American context and communicate with them the way they could understand that our ministry would be effective. Their understanding of faith is based on the theory and which needed more education and update and studies for us. We were able to participate in the Formation for Ministry program conducted by the diocese by the laity. We had seminars, interaction, discussion. We were able to learn about their faith journey and their background and the family situation, able to provide effective ministry to the lonely, to the homebound, to the shut-ins. Professional life. After the initial hurdle to work as a registered nurse in the federal hospital, I entered the hospital setting that demanded long hours of work, 40 hours a week, 12 hours a day at straight. I needed more time to adapt to the new learning of the system. After a year of contract, the institution sponsored a financial incentive to equip me further with the education by working full-time. I took this opportunity not without challenge by using my personal energy and time apart from fulfilling daily religious commitments at the convent, local parish to further education. I spent longer time completing the bachelor's of nursing in the United States than the United States students because of our nursing curriculum of general nursing is different than American system. Most of the tuition and expenses were met by the hospital. Community life. Unlike the Indian religious communities, missionary community life demanded different life. In India, after our regular ministry, we had working women and girls do cooking and cleaning. Here, each of us had to take turns for cooking, doing shopping and cleaning, taking care of our personal and community cleaning, maintaining the house chores. Because we are a very few, 3 to 4 in the community, it involved many sacrifices, self-giving, and generosity. Living with the sisters initially from the same province with the different family background and personalities, and later on from different provinces with a different culture, food habits, family background, and personality brought conflict and demanded adjustment and acceptance. Sometimes my cooking was so different from how others were used to it. They could not enjoy themselves and eat after I spent much time and energy, which brought discouragement and frustration. This challenge allowed me to accept others and other cultures, trying to make adjustments and learn differently so that all could enjoy themselves. Leaving what I know I like, focusing on the common good and understanding and acceptance of others helped me slowly overcome my discouragement. In Rule of Life, Article 24 and 1, we read in our apostolic communities, we recognize the dignity of each person and share our gifts. Community is a sign where love is possible when God unites all of us. Community life is a work in progress like any of our other communities because we live with persons. By it has helped over the years to overcome my fear of others, to trust and confidence, genuinely approach and express to the person when hurt by others' words or behaviors, then move on with peace instead of maintaining a false peace when things are not going well. My initial challenge of the mission have changed to a different level. At prayer, when I find it hard to forgive or to move on with peace, I bring it to the Lord, ask for that love unites all of us. Thus, I was able to have the grace to accept others with their weaknesses, even which of those irritates me and hurts me deeply. The initial challenges have changed to a different level personally, spiritually, professionally, pastorally, and in community, as well as my joys and growth in the above areas. Personally, I have become more stronger, focusing on living the charism with joy and peace. Pastorally, sharing the God experience with the people as opportunities avail. For example, apart from a regular ministry, with the community sister with whom I live, I avail my free time to visit homebound, praying and taking Eucharist to them, and help to prepare during the weekend the liturgy by pooling the talents of our parishioners work along with the community sister and the pastor. Outcome of this pooling effort was that we are able to do every weekend on a special liturgy, a liturgical banner using the talent of the parishioner who has an artist gift and she has the things so that every weekend it could inspire the parishioners and reach out to the whole congregation in the parish. Professionally, by the grace of God, working full time as a registered nurse and full time as a religious sister, I used the opportunity to further complete the postgraduate program sponsored entirely by the hospital to become a family nurse practitioner. That took a lot of hard work and long hours to complete. Currently, as Sister mentioned, I work at the clinical setting with the supervision of the doctor, seeing 20 patients in person and performing health examination, ordering labs, X-ray, CAT scan, MRI, interpreting the results, doing a telemedicine, talking with families and counseling them. Every day I encounter challenges. It's not without demands. Dealing with very sick, angry, threatening patients is very difficult. But I use these challenges to learn what is needed to manage with prudence and tactfulness. This requires further education, online learning, collaboration with my colleagues. But overall, this is a great opportunity to reach out to the sick in their most vulnerable moments to be Christ to someone who otherwise goes without him. I do this every day with all my humility and sinfulness, knowing the grace of God helps me to grow more in Christ like attitude and behavior. To conclude, I would like to finish with the saying, every challenge in my missionary life brought me pain and growth, and every growth brought immense joy and peace, doing the work of Christ, being another Christ for whom and with whom I encounter in my daily encounters. Thank you, sisters, for your support.
Thank you, sister.
You're welcome. Wish you the best.
Thank you, sister. Sister, your sharing is very enriching and inspiring. Very touching. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you, sisters. It was good seeing you in person yesterday. I wish and assures of my prayers for each one of you to have a fruitful experience as you begin your missionary journey.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you very much, Rosy. So now we will move on, and finally we'll give we'll thank personally each one. So now we move on to Jessy. So Jessy is in France from 2003. In between, for 15 months, she had been in Romania. She was at the diocesan center at Annecy at the reception in the beginning. During these years, 2 terms, she had been the provincial councillor and once as provincial secretary. She was one of the pioneers in starting the community at Annemasse, France. She was involved in the pastoral ministry of catechesis over there. From 2012, after going through a formation at Lyon in the Jesuit Center to accompany people in their spiritual journey, she was accompanying people in MGP Center. She was also the animator of MGP. That's the spirituality, the cultural center that we have in France, okay? MGP. She was doing all kinds of humble tasks besides animating retreat and accompanying laity in their spiritual journey. From 2019, she is the animator of Triole, and she continues the spiritual animation in that center. People seek her guidance in Triole too. The Triole is the community where she is. She will be soon completing 20 years in France. All these years, she had been keeping her vision towards Jesus, the great missionary. And that's why she is vibrant even today. She has experienced the joys and challenges of being a missionary in France during the last 20 years, and she's the right person to share with us. And very special, I'm so happy she's going to share, and our budding missionaries are there, so it will be wonderful for them to hear her challenges and joys in France. So welcome, Jessy.
First of all, I ask excuse because I may not be able to talk fluently in English. Since I am here for many years, we talk very rarely in English here. Recently, since one sister is here from Sri Lanka, we are talking more. Otherwise, usually we don't talk much in English. Okay. First of all, I thank you, Sister Fatima, for introducing me, for your word of welcoming, and also for every member of the team, Mission and Extra team, as well as the Border Crosses team, Sister Hilaria and Sister Josie and Alex, who are present there with us today. So good evening to each one of you. Beginning of this month, Sister Fatima Qatar called me and asked me to share with you all about the joys and challenges of my missionary life here. As a young sister, I always dreamed to be a missionary. When I was in Tamil Nadu, I was already living something of that dream of being a missionary spirit, living that missionary spirit. I was very happy in living with my sisters at Nagarkoil as I was working in the garden the first year, and in Madurai as student, and also in the parish, and in Nagarkoil teaching in the college, as well as in Tuticorin in the school. During this apostolic days, I was engaged in the parish activities too. In those years, sisters were going only once in 3 years for home holidays, and it was a joy of meeting them. My dream was coming true to become a real missionary in another country. When our Superior General Sister Pushpam had called all the sisters in 2001, if I'm not making a mistake, she made a call to the sisters of our congregation to volunteer for the mission in France. I was very happy to express my desire to go to France, to the birthplace of our congregation. Even though Sister Pushpam had asked me to be the translator, I had mentioned in my letter that I am ready to do anything according to the need of the province and congregation. My willingness to accomplish what God tells me through my authorities and my desire to serve the good God with honesty and humility, whatever may be the situation that presents, made me to be faithful to Jesus all through my life. Today, I can say wholeheartedly, the Lord is my shepherd and my friend. Nothing else I want. God had been forming me in India to go through humiliations and misunderstandings, but I never wavered because Jesus, my friend, was always faithful. The real joy does not depend on the place or the situation in which we live in. It is based on our true identity and faith. When I think of the first and foremost, what comes to my mind is the life of our elderly sisters who left from France to an underdeveloped country like India in 1886 without knowing the language, culture, climate, and the persons. What touched me really is their courage and confidence to answer the call of God and their zeal to make Him known, whatever it might cost. Their willingness to go through all trials, even death, was very remarkable. If they can go through all the difficulties, I who believe in Jesus will also be helped to quench his thirst and accomplish his mission, however difficult it may be, by my simple presence and willingness to do his will. My primary motivation is to make the good God known. Wherever I be and whatever I do, reveal to others the one whose goodness I experienced. My joy today comes from this experience of His faithfulness and love that I cherish and renew each day through the meditation of Jesus' life and the reflection on the Word of God. Jesus, when He called me, had placed His confidence in me. Likewise, the sisters, when they entrust their work to me, they have confidence in me. And I try to do my best to accomplish the apostolate confided to me, counting on God's grace and Jesus' presence, as well as with the support of my community sisters. The simple and poor life joyfully lived with satisfaction and without hidden agendas gives me peace of mind. As Sister Fatima had mentioned, I was in the province of Madurai and I came to France along with Sister Lucy Matthew, who belonged to Trichy province in 2003. In 2002, I had a deep God experience while I was participating in a charismatic retreat, which was organized in Tuticorin. In those days, I was teaching in Anglo-Indian school, Tuticorin, preparing for my papers and waiting for the passport. It was there Jesus had enveloped me in a tangible manner with his love and joy. For me, meeting the people of other culture is a joy. I have the conviction that in each culture there is something good that can be helpful for my growth. It is by coming out of our own selfish ideas and by receiving what is good in the other culture with openness we become rich. So when I came here, I used to appreciate the values like respect for everyone and dignity of labor, the punctuality, openness, humility, hard work, simplicity, and all the values and virtues that we find in the life of our mother Claudine and elderly sisters. The wonderful creation with the different seasons draws me close to God and teaches many lessons for my life. When I saw the snow for the first time, the Psalm 50 came to my mind, create in me a clean heart, O Lord, wash it and make it pure like the snow. My prayer life, especially my personal relationship with Jesus, has deepened after coming to this mission. I renew my prayer experience each time I see the snow, nature, as well as the swallows. The chirpings of the sparrows make me to sing the praises of the Lord. We can really hear them even now. The care and attention of our elderly sisters are very touching. For example, when we came for the first time in 2003, Samari Ren, who was a missionary for 40 years in India and Sri Lanka, she had come back after her service, and she had prepared for us little pickle. It may not be like what we usually taste, but it was something different. And we were beginners in Shabana, it touched us. And Sister Teres Mary Marola, who had been in India, a professor in Madurai Kamaraj University, also was helping us to learn the language. I had the joy of living in our old Grand Pré community. Before building this community, which is called Maison du Grand Pré, the retreat center and cultural center, we had an old Grand Prix community. You would have heard about it, you would have read about it, which was demolished in 2008, and there came up the Claudine Center, Home for the Aged, in 2009. My life in the diocesan center for 2 years and in Romania for 15 months gave me a true knowledge of the Diocese of Annecy and the openness to the simple and happy life of the Romanians. Then in Agnes, a multicultural city, border of Geneva, we began a new community with 3 Indian sisters. The welcoming spirit of the parish people was very touching. I had lived in the, as sister had mentioned already, in Maison du Grand Pré community, MGP, which welcomes people of all religion with a broad vision. From 2015 to 19, I had been in that community. And now in Annecy Triole community, I continue the spiritual animation. I have also the joy of drawing people close to God through my ministry. In my little way, I participate in the mission of Jesus. I am a missionary like any other baptized person. Without searching for recognition, I contribute in my simple way for the growth of the province. Here, the priests and bishops are very simple and approachable, sisters too. Now I come to the challenges. To learn the language of the place, to speak it even though we speak sometimes broken French, is the first challenge. Our sisters were not able, those who had gone to India, they were not able to communicate, even they were not able to call to their family or friends. It was not possible. When they write letters, after so many weeks, they were receiving a reply. We need to humble to ask and get the correction when we do not know the customs and manners of another country where we have come to serve. And we cannot expect that lay people will respect you more because you are a nun. In India or other countries, it is a custom that they give more importance. We have to imprint in our minds that we are also Christians baptized to be a disciple and missionary like others. In the churches, you may not find youngsters, but they have their program occasionally. When they have their gathering, they come together. It can be a discouragement if you do not know the culture. Lay people have received formation and do play an important role in every level of the diocese and parishes. Food is different from our cultures, however, the young ones who are coming, but everything is good for health. Nothing is harmful. This conviction helped me to eat everything that is kept at table without difficulty. It may not be very colorful and spicy. Now we have the possibility of getting the spices, and at the same time, getting used to the meals of the country is encouraged and appreciated. Clothing, winter time, and in summer the clothing changes. You will have to wear more warm clothes in winter, as you have already seen other sisters in Israel doing their warm clothes in the winter to protect you from cold. That means as years pass by, you'll have to have more clothes and shoes to keep you warm to fight against the cold. In summer, the heat also goes up. Even though the temperature may be 30, it may, for us, we can feel that it is as it is 50 degree. And dignity of labor is another point. You have to do all kinds of work. You may be a doctor or professor, but you have to do every household work like cooking, cleaning, etc. Nobody will do it for you. You do not have a fixed job like in the institutions, Africa or Sri Lanka. It will take at least 2 years to learn the language and to form oneself according to the needs of the province or the place. It needs lot of patience. You cannot start any job immediately and help the province, even though you may feel the need. Any formal work here requires formation and certificate. But each time you help in a community is a great help to reduce the expenses of the province and do not get discouraged. And when when you live in community, also it is very important that we avoid the judgmental attitude, because we see different ways of behaving and living in another culture. Sometimes things may be shocking for you. It is good that we speak about it, about our confusions and shocks, to the sister in charge or another sister of the community or the sister in charge of missionary sisters. Here, most of our sisters are living in apartments with a limited space. Only 2 houses are remaining. There can be a tendency when we have more facilities, we can live an easy life, but it is a call to keep up our spirit of poverty and grow in our inner life, which will help us to live a poor life like Jesus says, blessed are the poor in the spirit. Our prayer life. Here each one is supposed to be responsible for one's own spiritual life. For example, we may not have regular masses, but the prayer services are there. In the community, morning prayers, sometimes it is not there when there are elderly sisters or sisters who are going to work in other places. It may not be possible. So each one has to take the responsibility of finding time for your personal prayer. I think of the couples who are working 5 days a week tirelessly and taking care of their children and still engage in the parish activities. Their life inspires me so much to be faithful in my commitment and not deviate from our initial call and love for Jesus. We are called to pray with our heart and not with our head. The regular examination of conscience will help us to grow in holiness as we learn to look with the eyes of Jesus, the persons and events of the day. And we are accountable for what we receive in handling the things and money. We are not here when we come to another foreign country, some can have an idea that we are here to collect money to help our families. No. We are called to be sincere and you will have peace of mind. God will be happy with our clear motivation and loving service. The real maturity of a person can be seen in her way of reacting, responding when she makes mistakes and receives fraternal correction. If you do not want to do bad things to others, Believe that others too do not want to do evil for you. Let us conquer the evil by thinking and doing good. This was my principle. I thank the sisters whose life inspired me and continue to inspire me to work tirelessly for the congregation. Let us have broad-mindedness to accept everyone as a child of God, especially with whom we live. That will make our community life more pleasant and joyful. God loves me, and I have Jesus as my friend and companion who is always with me, like others. Let us not be hurt by the words or reactions of the other, because as we learn the language, lots of mistakes and misunderstandings can take place. May you have the true knowledge of your identity, that you are in the eyes of God. May we who have said yes, like Mother Mary and Jesus, grow each day in holiness by accepting the Paschal mystery like them, while accomplishing the will of God. We are members of the international congregation, and our communities here are multicultural. When each one tries to accept the other with their differences, weakness and strength, we help one another to grow in communion, pardon by charitable talk, and grow together in holiness. Accountability to the animator of the community will help each one to help her to understand what the sister is going through living. So that is an important point. And using the precious time to know more about the culture of the place and being available to the needs of the community. Be attentive to the weak and aged sisters, and going beyond our natural tendencies to search for our comfort is very important when we go as missionary to one place. Let us make the other feel that she can count on you, count on me. And in here we may not have the recreation time as we have in other countries. So it is at table, sometimes during meal time, that we share most of the experience, except when we have the sharing different timings of the spiritual sharing time. So it is important to share our experiences, which will give a dynamism to our community lives. We may go out, people usually Sunday afternoons, they go out. Sometimes we do also. So we are also called to show special interest to in our elderly sisters, asking also their experience, how they have lived. That will enrich us. Unfortunately, we are not having many sisters, elderly sisters with us. In my community, there is one French sister. You may know her, Sister Odile Vaudot, who's seeing to the archives with Sister Rose. Otherwise, Sister Shaman, who is doing the translation, and the new sister, Sister Stella, who has come from Sri Lanka. She's learning the language. And also Sister Rose, who is on holidays in India at present. And since we do not have many young sisters, it is difficult to engage in the parish and other movements. We are waiting for you all, dear sisters, with love. Be energetic missionary sisters who bring God's amazing, merciful love to all. May the Holy Spirit inspire and inflame each one of you to meet all the challenges which life offers with courage and enthusiasm to work for the glory of God. And before coming, make sure that you have your health is good, and you have all the birth certificates and passport, whatever that is needed, because we see that sisters who are coming, they have a lot of difficulty to get their papers ready, because there is some mistakes either in their birth certificates or in the passport or catechism certificates, like that. So it gives a lot of problems. So make sure that everything is clear and there is no confusion. And if you have any other questions, you can also. I thank you, each one of you, dear sisters, for listening to me so patiently. I thank each one of you who are in the formation team for Mission and Extra, organizing this sharing and for giving me the occasion to speak to our budding missionaries. May God bless you all. Hearty welcome to France. Mainly what helped me also was my inner disposition to accept the corrections and to correct myself by the grace of God, asking the questions during examination of conscience. This also helped me to accept everything as sisters of the cross and live happily to reveal the merciful love of God. I especially welcome Sister Agrifina, Olivia, Chanchala, Sujuma, Maria, Ipsi, Junali, Patricia, Angela, Maria, Sharmila. Welcome. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sister, for enriching us by your sharing.
Thank you.
And it was a great help for our young sisters who are preparing. Thank you. And may I now invite Sister Fatima to introduce Sister Regie.
Sister Regie, after many years of service in India, she volunteered to go to Israel in November 2021. She was replacing Sister Vandana Mahesh in 2019 for 3 months in Bethlehem, working with the Betharam fathers. Now she is working as a receptionist at St. Anne's, and she works with the White Fathers. For years, she had nurtured the fire of proclaiming God's love in God's own land, and therefore she volunteered to go to Holy Land. We appreciate the gesture of hers to move, to cross borders, and not to be a settler in India. She volunteered at this age. So you know, well, age is only a number. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. She had taken the first step and she is moving onwards in Holy Land. Now she's an image of the community at Shufat. Mr. Regie, thanks for your willingness to share with us. Over to you, Regie.
Thank you, sister, for your words of appreciation and welcome. A pleasant good evening to all of you, my dear sisters. I am very happy to meet you all through this Google platform. First of all, I thank Sister Fatima Katta, the Provincial of Madurai province, for giving me this unique opportunity to share with you my own experiences in this land. When I compare myself with Sister Agnes, Rosy, and Sister Jessy Sebastian, I am just a baby missionary with 1 year of experience. Anyhow, I am very happy to share with you my simple experiences I encounter in my daily life here. The topic is very clear, the joys and the challenges of being a missionary. So I enter into it. It is actually my long cherished desire to live in the Holy Land, where Jesus was born, lived, died, and rose again, giving us new life. I even told Jesus once, please allow me to live in this earthly Jerusalem before you take me to heavenly Jerusalem. So we read in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19:21, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. So I am grateful to God for fulfilling his purpose in my life in his own way and in his own time through the leaders of our congregation. First time when I came to Holy Land in November 2019, I stayed only for 3 months because I came to replace a sister who went for her holidays. It was during that time I had a chance to visit the important holy places. Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, Nazareth, where he lived, Galilee, where he preached, Mount Tabor, where he was transfigured, Gethsemane, Calvary, and the tomb, where he suffered, died, and rose again to offer us abundant life. Visiting those sacred places increased and strengthened my faith in the person of Jesus. I could experience his living presence so tangibly in those holy places that had created a great impact in my life. So when I was returning to India after 3 months, I told Jesus at Calvary, please give me one more chance to come and live in your own land. I could feel within me the fire lit by Jesus was burning. Though I expressed my deeper desire to Jesus, yet I had a little fear because I know well that I need to wait for 3 more years to complete my term as secretary to provincial. Then I may reach the age of 70, the congregation may not send me. That fear was in me, but completely surrendered to his will and trusted in his mighty power. But God's ways are mysterious and marvelous. Due to COVID, Sister Jyoti, our provincial, passed away. Our team got dissolved. So within 2 years, Jesus has brought me for the second time to Israel on 23rd November 2021. Hence, I am grateful to the Superior General, Sister Elizabeth Miranda, and Sister Lourdes Adeklasamy, my provincial, for generously considering my request in spite of my age. Now, let me briefly tell you about our sisters with whom I live, move, and have my being. At present, we are 7 of us, 3 from the province of Trichy, 2 from Calcutta, 1 from Amravati, and 1 from Guwahati. We are placed in 2 communities, Sofath and Ankarim. Sofath is our own community, whereas Ankarim is the Franciscan monastery. It is there 3 of our sisters, Sister Alphonse, Vandana, and Sister Lucy Benedict, are rendering their loving service. They take care of the presbytery, attend to the pilgrims who visit the cave of John the Baptist, and taking care of the fathers. They serve the Lord with joy in imitation of Mother Claudine, who gave her dedicated and loving service at the presbytery at Chavano. The 4 of us in Sofath do various services. 2 of us, Sister Daisy and myself, are working in St. Anne's. It is a great opportunity given to us to make the good God known and loved to thousands of pilgrims through our joyful, welcoming spirit. Sister Fabiana generously and lovingly offered herself to take care of the sick and the senior sisters of FMM Convent, Jerusalem. They are very happy to receive her service. Sister Shanti is serving as a sacristan in our parish church at Beth Hanina. She gives herself joyfully for the pastoral activities of the church. We, 7 of us, are blessing to each other, and we feel the joy of coming together as a family as often as possible on free days, birthdays, and special days of our congregation. In spite of the cultural differences, there is always acceptance, understanding, care, and concern. We support one another in times of trouble and extend our generous contribution wherever it is needed. Hence, in our mission here, our mother foundress Claudine stands as a model to reach out to people in humble service, humble prayer, and simplicity of life, to do ordinary things with an extraordinary love and compassion. I live in Sofath community. I find joy and satisfaction in sharing the responsibility as an animator and as a coordinator of both the communities. Yes, as a community, we carry on our household duties with a cheerful disposition, such as cleaning, cooking, gardening, marketing, etc. For example, we have fruit-bearing trees in our garden, grapes and olives. We collect the fruits and make wine, and out of olive seeds, we prepare pickle and olive oil. If you want, we will send it to you. We experience joy in working together as a community. For me, everything is new, but I find joy in learning new things with the guidance of our sisters. Along with Mother Claudine, I too can say that I am always a novice in learning things here. So every night we also watch the world news, which enables us to be in touch with the suffering humanity, especially who suffer political injustice, economic crisis, poverty, and natural calamities. We uphold all of them in our prayers. We do participate in the parish activities. We attend mass, take part in the celebrations, funeral service of our parishioners, visit them in the hospitals when they are sick, go with them for pilgrimages, house visits, etc. Through all this, we get involved in the life of our parishioners. Our parishioners are very good. They take care of us. Our neighbors here, both Christians and Muslims, are very friendly and serviceable. We count all these as blessings. We also join with Mother Teresa sisters on Saturdays regularly to reach out to the people in peripheries. Especially, we visit the migrants, drug addicts, sex abusers, all of them on the roadside. Summer or winter, no shelter. They sleep under the tree. They are from different nationalities, leaving their country and living aimlessly in this land. We used to feel very sad to see the bad state of our brothers and sisters who are displaced like this. We distribute food items, clothes, and medicines. Above all, we pray for them. Many groups are working for the upliftment of these people, migrants, etc. Yet we see many on the pavements, very pathetic and painful to see. When we visit them and come, that night we have sleepless nights, and our own brothers and sisters are like that. So now personally, my greatest joy is to visit Jesus at Calvary more frequently. Though it takes 40 minutes from our community to reach there, I love to attend Mass there because I could experience his sacrificial offering as if it is really happening there. People from all over the world, thousands and thousands, come in groups to adore Jesus. Jesus' words, "When I am lifted up from the earth, I will draw all people to myself." That is what is happening at Calvary. I tell Jesus, only your own people, the Jewish people, are still waiting for your arrival. Please touch their hearts and bring them to you so that all may be one. To enter into the tomb of Jesus, everything is in the same place. People just wait for hours together, prayerfully and patiently. All these are soul-stirring experience for me. Next, to reach the place of my ministry, St. Anne's, I need to walk on the path that is Via Dolorosa, where Jesus carried the cross and walked towards Calvary. In the same road, I have to pass through the prison of Jesus, where he was arrested previous day of his death, the Herod's palace, where he was sentenced to death, beaten and crowned. When I step into that road, my fatigue and pains go away because I feel the grace of the passion of Jesus is still alive there. As I walk, I thank Jesus for his unconditional love for us. I work in the place where Saint Anne and Joachim lived, and Mother Mary was born, and the pool of Bethesda is there, where Jesus healed the paralytic man after 38 years. A big church is built where the grandparents of Jesus lived. It is a place of grace and blessing. In the beginning, I was not at ease with my work, selling the tickets to the pilgrims who enter there, accounting, etc. One day, I was sitting in the church and praying. I heard an inner voice speaking to me. You are like a Peter, allowing people to enter into this sacred place. From then on, I started to love that work. I find real joy in it. I sit there in the reception, pray, and bless the pilgrims who enter. Here, walking is a blessing. We need to walk a lot to reach the important places. No autos. Only few battery cars are there, but it is very expensive. Here, seniors are very active and independent. By the 5:30 a.m., we can find them opening the shops and sitting there. Some of them use the wheelchairs or walking sticks to go for shopping. Even the pilgrims who come from the other countries, majority are seniors. So very inspiring to see them. So I am getting energized every day, though I am 71 now. By looking at them, I get energy to work for the Lord. Now let me narrate the challenges. So far I was telling about all good things. Now it's challenges. Living in smaller communities. I had been living only in big communities with many sisters. So it is a new experience for me to live with few members. Though a lot of advantages are there in smaller community, yet at times we need to face the realities. Sometimes we have frictions. We are not museum pieces to be silent. We speak it out. Often we are heard than seen. This gives me a lot of opportunity to take initiative to forgive my sisters, though painful at times. Often I think that God has brought me here to practice or to excel in the virtue of humility. We all come from different cultures and backgrounds, so it is natural. Only with the spirit of internationality, we can overcome and experience the Paschal joy which Jesus offers to us. Second challenge is aloneness. Aloneness is different from loneliness. First 2 months, sisters were with me. Those days were honeymoon days for me. Slowly, I started to go alone everywhere. Outside, no problem. Only when I come to the community, no one will be there because all are busy with their own work. Morning by 5 or 5:30, they leave the house, will return only at 3 p.m. I still remember the first day when I entered the community alone. I felt empty, frightened. Even to enter into my personal room, I felt a kind of fear. I used to spend my time in the hall where I am sitting now. It is a hall. Chapel is near the hall. Sometimes I just enter and tell Jesus, please come with me. I am really frightened. Added to that, I was affected by corona. So all the time I was locked up in my room. With that, slowly I got rid of that fear. Maybe God has given me that corona in order to take the loneliness from me, aloneness from me. So I am happy now. I am happy to be alone. Second one is the key system. Whenever, as soon as we come, everyone will be given the bunch of keys. With that, we need to open the gate, the entrance door, and the other doors, etc. I was frightened to open and close because if we do not use the keys properly, we cannot take it. Then we have to be there where we are. We cannot move from there. We cannot proceed anywhere. I have experience also. Once in my workplace, St. Anne's, it was Saturday evening, 5 o'clock. Up to 5 o'clock we work there. I locked the office room, but not able to remove the key. I was looking for someone. Usually, nobody will be found in the huge campus. Without that key, I cannot come out of that campus too. Nearly 30 minutes, I was waiting for someone to come. I was looking for here and there, perplexed, frightened, started to cry also. Then one man appeared in one end. So I ran and called him. Then he helped me to remove the key. Then I came out. Then the third one is the third challenge is cooking. We take turns for cooking. In the beginning, I used to be so tensed because I am ignorant of many things about opening and closing the gas burners, cooking with the available products here, preparing the dishes as per the taste of the sisters, etc. Even now, I have fear, but the intensity is reduced. Next is marketing. Here, the shopkeepers will not take and give the products what we need. We have to select. When we go for malls and all, we select. But here, the labels are in Arabic and Hebrew. So we cannot read. Only with the images we look for. That also is. Sometimes I buy wrong products and get scolding from the sisters. Even after 1 year, I am not clear about the things of purchasing and so on. I am not confident. Then language, Arabic and Hebrew are the main language people speak. So not able to communicate properly to the people because we don't know. Arabic is hard to learn. Many people understand English, so we are managing somehow. But of course, language of love is accepted everywhere. So all of us use the language of love, except a few sisters, our seniors who are here, they will talk here now and then. Then the major problem is the political disturbances between the Jews and the Palestinians. So majority of the Palestinians are Christians and Muslims. If anything goes wrong, the Israel government shoots the Palestinians. Very pathetic situation. At any time, anything happens. We see the Jews, Muslims are often going to their place of worship, Western Wall and Alaska. Western Wall is their Jews' place of worship. There they go and hit the thing and wait for Jesus, praying for Jesus to come, Messiah to come. Alaska is our own Jerusalem temple. It has handed over to it has gone to Muslims. So it is called Alaska. So every time, so many people go there for praying earnestly, but we experience vengeful attitude, fighting and killing everywhere. Though it is known as Holy Land, no peace among the people. Christians are silent sufferers. So always we pray for the peace in Jerusalem. So in spite of all these difficulties and troubles and challenges, we move gracefully to make God known by our simple and joyful presence. Dear sisters, God often uses small matches to light up great torches. And no matter how small we feel in this world, He has something big to store for us. With this quote, I conclude my simple sharing. Hearty welcome, dear sisters. Come and taste the goodness and the greatness of God in His own land. Thank you, dear sisters, for patiently listening to me and for being throughout my sharing. God bless you.
Thank you.
Blessed are the missionaries for their reward. Blessed are the missionaries. Their reward is great in heaven. Our reward is great in heaven.
Thank you so much, sister. I am from
Thank you.
sister. I am Jessy Kotar from Latin America. Really, the sharing of your sisters very inspired me and give the increase my missionary spirit. As you said, no, sister, here when you come from India, that what sister union with the Lord is more and more. We have the strength from Him. As you are in the Holy Land, we feel, no, That also, when you said, I am imagining everything, but God is the same everywhere. He is inspiring the. I am going to finish 22 years in Latin America. I am very happy, as you said, the same experience, no cooking, everything we have to do, but there is a joyful experience with the sisters, and when we are in Cohimias in Ecuador, our place mismo periphery. So daily we are going to visit, and the people are very simple, even though they are poor, but very, very generous people. The Ecuador sister Fatima also, in 2014, we celebrated presence of in 20 years in Latin America, no, in Ecuador, Manda, or place. So I am very, very grateful to three sisters you are sharing. I will share with the sister. If they are asked, I will share with the sisters also. Thank you for the novices are ready to go to missionary. Welcome also to American Latina. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear sister, for your inspiring sharing.
Greetings from Ashirwad.
Tell them to mute the.
Great joy listening to you all, your challenges and the heroic way of facing them. I was reliving my days in the mission. It's a great joy. Thank you, sisters. God bless you all. Continue to be zealous in your mission. Hope you will have many more sisters to come to strengthen the mission. God bless you all. Rosy,
Thank you. Thank you,
Sister
sister.
Jessy, and Sister Regie. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
A missionary is the one who is open to the reality according to the time, place, and situation giving Christ. They need to be ready for good results as well as disappointments. They should be ready for attachment as well as detachment, attachment to Christ and detachment to the standards of this world. Indeed, everyone who is willing to move from place to place, moment to moment, for a greater commitment is a missionary. So, dear sisters, all of us as missionaries are inspired to listen to the life experiences of as missionary in a foreign land, adapting yourself beyond language and culture, living far from home, trusting in God's companionship, and with a greater thirst to reach out. May I now invite Sister Hilaria Saundari to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, sisters.
Good
It's a
evening.
great joy and a privilege to listen to our sisters. As Isaiah 52:7 says, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news, who proclaim peace, who bring good tidings, who proclaim salvation. And here we were privileged to listen to our great missionaries, Sister Agnes Rosy from USA, and Sister Jessy Sebastian from France, and Sister Regie Chinnappan from Israel. They had been listening to the God's call and they have responded. Sister Rosy, we really enjoyed your missionary sharing. You have almost crossed 2 decades, and the passion that you have in pastoral work. And I have, when I had been with you in the Norwich community, I have experienced that. And also your professional life, how you keep updating yourself, and the way that you are rooted in the person of Christ, it speaks volumes. Even today, the simplicity with which you had been communicating was very, very inspiring, Sister Rosy. So thank you very much for taking time to be with us and to share your in-depth experience of missionary life. I do thank you, Sister Jessy. Sister Jessy is my junior in the novitiate, and I had been journeying with her along. Also, I had a privilege of meeting her in France, and it is true, as she said, the language, the climate, the ministry, everything in a foreign land becomes a great challenge. But as Sister Rosy, you have also crossed more than 2 decades in the land of France. So we do appreciate you and we thank you on behalf of our commission for being with us. Sister Regie, when I listened to you, what came to me was age is not a barrier to be a missionary. At any age, we can be a missionary. You had been a source of inspiration to me as a young junior when I was in the Fort community. Until today, you keep inspiring me. And the way we all had been listening, I think there will be many more people who will be opting for the mission. And as our general chapter calls for the commission of congregational solidarity, and we are here as a missionary extra commission, we thank all of you in a very, very special way. And we are also very happy that sisters across the province, across the globe had been joining for the program and making this evening webinar a very enriching one. So we do thank you all the sisters, and special thanks to the budding missionaries who are joining us from ERCAD. So we just wanted to tell you that you are very much in our prayers, and we are praying for you. And we wish and pray that all over in all the provinces, we have many more missionaries opting and reaching out and proclaiming to make the good God known and loved. At this moment, I also thank Sister Fatima Qatar in a very special way for motivating us or encouraging the commission to organize such programs. And special thanks to Sister Josephine Alex for leading us in prayer, and for our coordinator, Sister Antin, for making all the arrangements and being the master of ceremony. So thank you, one and all, dear sisters. Thank you for all that you have been. So thank you so much, dear sisters. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your prayers and wishes.
Sister Fatima, grateful, Sister Fatima. Thank you for this beautiful arrangement. Sister Fatima, great
Thank
you are.
you.
Yes.
Thank you, Sister Fatima, for the wishes and greetings that you have received also from Madhuri, for the new letters, everything. Thank you, Amik. And once again, I would like to say a word of thank you for the young sisters who are preparing for the mission in France. Wishing you all a very good preparation. Nowadays, you are lucky to have the sisters to share their lived experience, because when we all came, we were all new. We were not having other sisters to share their experiences such, or to speak other languages. See, one or two sisters were there. And now with the new technology, you all will be able to pick up the language very fast. So most welcome. We are praying for you regularly. Thank you. Wishes from all the sisters. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Jessy.